Today is Monday, January 6th, 4 years after the Capitol riot. And the same ceremonial vote count is set to happen in Congress with hopefully less violence. We'll explain how things are different this time around. Also, we'll tell you where Americans are facing the heaviest snowfall in a decade. Plus, why America's top doctor wants warning labels on alcohol. What's behind a new stockpiling trend? And who won and who got snubbed at last night's Golden Globes. Those stories and even more news to know next. Welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in around 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. I'm Erica Mandy. Thanks so much for being here. You ready? Let's do this. The first major winter storm of the year is bringing blizzard conditions to tens of millions of Americans over more than 1,000 miles. By the end of the day, parts of the Central Plains are expected to have gotten as much as 15 inches from this storm, the most in over a decade. Already, snow and ice has covered major roadways in nearly all of Kansas, western Nebraska, and parts of Indiana. So travel of any kind is being strongly discouraged this morning. Even snowplows and emergency vehicles have been getting stuck, and a good chunk of flights and Amtrak routes have been canceled. Today, the warnings extend east all the way to New Jersey. Major cities are in the path of this, including Kansas City, St. Louis, Indianapolis, Washington, D.C., Baltimore, and Philadelphia. Several governors declared states of emergency. Many school districts canceled in-person classes for today, and government offices closed. The snow and ice should mostly stop building up by tomorrow, but what falls now will probably stay on the ground for a while. The temperatures will keep dropping to as much as 30 degrees below normal for the eastern two-thirds of the U.S. Well, this January 6th is another important day in the nation's capital. But unlike January 6th 4 years ago, things are expected to go smoothly. Congress is set to count each state's electoral votes and officially declare President-elect Trump the winner of last year's presidential election. Typically, this is just a ceremonial step before a president is inaugurated on January 20th. But on this day in 2021, rioters wanted to make sure that did not happen. They pushed past police barricades, stormed the Capitol building, sent lawmakers running for shelter, and demanded then Vice President Pence stop the count. As you know, they were acting on the belief President-elect Trump was the rightful winner last time, even though election authorities and several courts made it clear Biden won fairly. Well, this time, Trump actually was named the winner. And so far, no Democrats have said they're going to stand in the way of the official count. As vice president, Kamala Harris will be in charge, certifying her own loss. It's also worth noting she and senators will be working under updated rules that make it harder for lawmakers to raise objections without significant support from their colleagues. Outside the Capitol, law enforcement officers are not taking any chances either and have increased security in place. When it comes to the rioters involved in the Capitol attack 4 years ago, some have since served their time. Others are still in prison expecting a pardon from President-elect Trump when he's back in office. And then there are some who still have not been caught. For example, the person who placed pipe bombs in Washington, D.C. the night before the riot still has not been identified. Just last week, FBI officials released new video of the suspect. There's $500,000 reward for information leading to an arrest and conviction. Republican Speaker Mike Johnson was reelected to the top job in the U.S. House. It was a close vote, but once the vote was official, the reelected speaker promised to extend tax cuts and cut back the size and scope of the government. And the House adopted a new rules package that will make it tougher for lawmakers to vote a speaker out of the leadership position in the future. By the way, the new Senate is also now in session, with Republican John Thune as the new leader. It looks like another American ally is about to have a big leadership shakeup. Reports say Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is planning to resign this week after 9 years in office. He's been facing calls to step down lately in the face of disagreements over Canada's economy and immigration policies. Polls show his Liberal Party is poised to badly lose to Conservatives in an election that needs to be held sometime this year. So some of his allies have said they want a new name on the ticket. If he does in fact resign, reports say Canadian politicians will likely call for a quick election, so there's a stable government in place when American President-elect Trump comes into power, threatening new tariffs. In fact, Trudeau has a meeting today about Canada-U.S. relations, though he could also announce his resignation as soon as today. So stay tuned. In one of his final acts as commander-in-chief, President Biden awarded the nation's highest civilian honor to 19 people, saying all of them have made America a better place. We're talking about the Presidential Medal of Freedom. And among those getting the honor are Democrats who are often criticized by Republicans like President-elect Trump. Think former First Lady and Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, billionaire fundraiser George Soros, and Vogue's editor-in-chief Anna Wintour. Plus, the president recognized celebrities who have contributed to society, like the singer Bono, the actor Michael J. Fox, the basketball legend Earvin Magic Johnson, and soccer megastar Lionel Messi. As the New York Times puts it, the Presidential Medal of Freedom is viewed by historians as the president's final megaphone to say, these are the people we should admire and emulate. Past recipients include former presidents, current lawmakers, artists, athletes, astronauts, journalists, philanthropists, and many more. We have more news for you still ahead, but first, thanks to our sponsor, Honeylove. When I wear anything from Honeylove, I can instantly tell so much thought went into every aspect of what I'm wearing, from the feel to the function to the fashion. So it came as no surprise for me to learn that Honeylove is an independent, female-founded brand that is intelligently designed by women who actually wear the products. Honeylove shapewear, for example, it's designed to move with you, so no more pulling it down or up anytime you walk around. I also love the designs and the fabric of Honeylove shapewear. It in some ways feels like part of a great outfit that makes me look and feel better instead of something that I need to hide or be embarrassed about. And if you've been listening for a while, then you also know that I adore Honeylove's Legging 2.0, my favorite legging for everyday wear, hands down. So treat yourself to the best bras, shapewear, and leggings on the market. Save 20% off Honeylove at honeylove.com/newsworthy. Use our exclusive link to get 20% off. honeylove.com/newsworthy to find your perfect fit. After your purchase, they ask you where you heard about them, so please support our show and tell them we sent you. Elevate your comfort, elevate your style with Honeylove. Now, back to the news. America's top doctor wants cancer warnings printed on all alcohol containers, much like the warnings on tobacco products. Surgeon General Vivek Murthy made his recommendation on Friday, saying alcohol was the third leading preventable cause of cancer in the U.S. He said research has shown alcohol can cause 7 types of cancer and wants labels to clearly inform consumers of that fact. Not everyone is on board, though. Groups representing the alcohol industry say current warning labels on alcohol, including those about pregnancy and driving, are enough. And some analysts say those kinds of labels don't actually do much since ingrained habits are hard to change. Either way, Congress would have to approve mandatory cancer warnings on alcohol to make them a reality. A once iconic American business is staying in American hands after all. For over a year now, Japanese company Nippon Steel has been trying to buy U.S. steel for nearly $15 billion. But then on Friday, President Biden issued an order to block the deal. Biden says he wanted to make sure America keeps control over its own steelmaking industry. He also said the deal would threaten national security and critical supply chains. Nippon Steel and U.S. Steel say that's not true, and they put out a joint statement criticizing Biden's decision, calling it politically motivated. Now they're threatening legal action. The companies say the deal is actually just meant to help American steel compete in an industry dominated by China. And some conservatives and business groups, like the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, have backed it. But President-elect Trump has also been against this acquisition and promised to block it himself if Biden didn't. To be continued. For the first time, an airline is being charged a fine for late flights. The Department of Transportation says certain JetBlue routes on the East Coast arrived late more than half the time in 2022 and 2023. And for that, it was fined $2 million, half of which will go to delayed passengers. The DOT says most of the delays were JetBlue's fault, and the airline had been warned. JetBlue responded to say it has invested tens of millions of dollars to make sure its flights operate on time and that things have improved. And now it wants the federal government to modernize air traffic control systems and hire more staff so things get even better. This is the first penalty handed out for chronically late flights, and the head of the DOT said the fine should serve as a warning to the rest of the industry. Have you noticed AI chatbots in your Instagram and Facebook feeds? A lot of users have, and have complained so much about them that parent company Meta decided to kill them off completely. The bots actually rolled out in late 2023. Some of them were likenesses of celebrities who'd agree to be part of the program. Others included so-called dating experts and a bot mimicking novelist Jane Austen. They've been labeled AI managed by Meta. But users have expressed confusion and anger over why these bots started showing up in their feeds recently and why it appears they can't block them. So Meta shut down all remaining bots on Friday, just days after an executive told the Financial Times the company sees AI bots as becoming an integral part of social media platforms. To be clear, users can still create their own AI chatbots that can also interact with other people on the platform. The 82nd Golden Globe Awards are in the books. Usually, the Globes are considered a preview of the Oscars. But this year, some of the movies considered Oscar frontrunners got snubbed. For example, movies that were considered strong Oscar contenders like Anora and A Complete Unknown went home empty-handed. Instead, The Brutalist was one of the night's big winners, even though it has yet to open in wide release. It won for Best Drama, among other top awards. Amelia Perez won Best Comedy or Musical. On the television side, Shogun won Best TV Drama, and Hacks won for Best TV Comedy. But The Bear only received one award out of the 5 it was nominated for. And Only Murders in the Building was up for 4, but did not win any. Another surprise came in the animated film category, where Flow beat out box office juggernauts like Inside Out 2 and The Wild Robot. So we'll just have to wait to see if other award shows follow suit. The Academy Awards happen in March, and the Emmys are in September. Well, that's it for the main news, so now it's time for Money Monday, when we talk about one interesting money-related news story. But first, a quick break to thank our sponsor. It's the start of a new year, a great time to put yourself first. So why not treat yourself a little? With Quince, you can treat yourself to everyday luxury at an affordable price. Been intrigued by the washable silk tank I've talked about from Quince? Try their washable silk skirts. Or if you're like much of the country right now and you have cold temperatures, maybe even snow, you can get a boost away from those winter blues with a Mongolian cashmere sweater, which starts at just $50. Quince has everything from everyday essentials to Italian leather handbags and more. And whatever you're looking for, all Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. They're able to do that by partnering directly with top factories and cutting out the cost of the middleman, passing the savings onto you. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices. So treat yourself this winter without the luxury price tag. Go to quince.com/newsworthy for 365-day returns plus free shipping on your order. That's QUINCE, quince.com/newsworthy to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/newsworthy. Okay, now back to Money Monday. Some Americans are storing up for winter and beyond. A growing number of U.S. shoppers have reported feeling nervous about higher tariffs President-elect Trump has promised. So to get ahead of what they believe will be rapid price increases, they're going on shopping sprees now. For example, a quarter of Americans who responded to a University of Michigan survey said it was a good time for major purchases before things get more expensive. And a third of people surveyed by creditcards.com say they're buying more now, also because of tariffs coming soon. It's true that many business leaders and economists have also warned about the price increases that tariffs could bring. In fact, executives from Best Buy, Walmart, and AutoZone have all said tariff costs could be passed on to consumers. But some economists warn this kind of preemptive spending itself might actually drive up prices. When customers buy and hoard items, it could create shortages, causing inflation. Of course, no one knows for sure what will happen to prices until President-elect Trump officially takes office and gets to business. All right, thank you so much for joining us today. We'll be back with even more news to know tomorrow. For now, have a great day.